Hello there everyone, it's Aidan here from Push Square, and today I'm talking about the best PS5 games of 2023. Now this is not a definitive ranking. If you're looking for something like that and you want to know what Push Square's Game of the Year is, then you're going to have to tune into the channel on January 1st. But for now, here are just a collection in no particular order because I wanted to celebrate the best that 2023 had to offer. So here are 20 of the best PS5 games in 2023. Let's kick it off with a biggie. SpiderMan 2, easily one of the biggest games of the year. It's got speedier web swinging, an expanded and improved New York, and it looks freaking phenomenal. I personally don't think the game did anything drastic to the Insomniac open world formula, but what it did do was streamline and generally improve the experience to make it a guaranteed good time. And really, what more can you ask for? In any other year, Star Wars Jedi Survivor would have been in Game of the Year discussions, but it was kinda drowned out with all of the noise. But similar to Spider-Man, we have a larger scale, an improved gameplay loop, and an incredibly fun Star Wars adventure. I loved the customizable aspects of Survivor, from dripping out Cal Kestis to trying out the various lightsaber stances. And on the Master difficulty, let me tell you, this is a solid game. There's a new Soulsborne out about every other week, but every now and again, you find a diamond in the rough, and that's exactly what Lies of P was. This game takes heavy inspiration from Bloodborne, but takes that formula and drops it into a dark rendition of Pinocchio. The gameplay feels fantastic here, but what makes it really stand out are those incredible mechanical enemy designs, which are always so impressive to look at. Final Fantasy XVI took the world by storm with an explosively brilliant action RPG that introduced waves of PS5 players to the franchise for the first time. I was one of those players too, and while I had some issues with the pacing in the latter parts of the game, there's no denying that when Final Fantasy XVI is good, it's really good. The scale of some of those icon fights is truly insane. You genuinely just cannot believe that they keep getting bigger and better. Hogwarts Legacy is every Potter fan's dream game. Set in the 1800s and thrust into the life as a Hogwarts student, you'll be flying on your broomstick, learning new spells in class, and exploring dangerous locales that you really shouldn't be exploring as a young person. Hogwarts health and safety is really out the window. For fans of the series, there's an impeccable attention to detail that make exploring the titular school an absolute delight. Now, I know there are a lot of complaints about the post-launch state of Diablo 4, but as a live service launch, I think people forget how full a package this was. With a massive campaign, multiple builds to experiment with, and dungeons galore, it's an incredibly fun time with friends or in solo play. This has become my cool down before the end of night game, and I just love exploring this grim fantasy world. Capcom has been on a roll with the Resident Evil remakes, and it peaked with Resident Evil 4. Since its launch earlier this year, RE4 had its Separate Ways DLC and full PSVR 2 support. With that, you have a sublime action horror package that captures everything you loved about the original and makes it bigger and better. After multiple re-releases since its launch, this is the definitive way to play Resident Evil 4. Humanity is certainly the quirkiest game on this list, as a unique puzzler that is kinda difficult to label. Transporting endless hordes of humans across progressively more complex platforms, this is an enchanting experience from the folks behind Tetris Effect. It's incredibly complex at times, but it will sort of leave you dazed thanks to its minimalist visuals and that captivating score. You'll also feel pretty damn smart completing a challenge in this one. A top-down RTS set in the Alien universe? Yes, please. Tindalos Interactive crafted up one of the toughest survival experiences of 2023 with a solid squad mechanic and a loving attention to detail for this iconic sci-fi world. They really are coming out of the walls in this one, and you'll need to make sure that your colonial marines aren't freaking out too much about it, because the central fear mechanic can have it all crumbling down as you're surrounded by biting xenomorphs. There was a time in 2023 where it seemed like all anyone was playing was Baldurs Gate 3. This sublime title, which eventually took the big award at the Game Awards, is utterly enormous, with a myriad of routes you can take your adventurer on, and a seemingly endless amount of possibilities. It is the ultimate D&D experience, so naturally, you can do it all with your friends too, and how good is that? Sci-fi and horror are never more synonymous than when you're talking about Dead Space. This full PS5 remake, thoroughly impressed with top-of-the-line graphics, and some of the best audio design on PS5 right now, along with a taut, tense, third-person experience that took one of the best in the genre to new heights. It really proved the need for remakes, and now we're thinking, Where's that Dead Space 2 remake? Another entry in the RE franchise, this time solely for the PSVR 2 version of Resident Evil Village. It arrived 2 years after the launch of the original game, but with Sony's seminal piece of VR tech, it was the perfect showcase for those crisp 4K OLED panels. And with its new Sense motion controls, it was a supremely improved experience over the already brilliant Resident Evil 7 on the original PSVR. If you have a PSVR 2, basically, you'd need to play this game. Street Fighter leveled up with this PS5 release, bringing with it a new vibrant art style and a solid online experience for those wanting to prove their mettle as legendary fighters. Street Fighter 6 has quietly been one of the best games of the year, with a supremely loyal fanbase and a solid netcode, meaning online fights are smooth and lagless, making it one of the best places to master your combos in 2023. From the lead gameplay designer of Limbo and Inside, Kakun continues on that trend of unique and strong identities with this charming puzzler. Across its campaign, it introduces new interactions and mechanics that keep the gameplay loop interesting and easily make it one of the best indie titles of the year. If you've got a free afternoon and you're looking for a mesmerizing gaming experience, then you really can't go wrong with Kakun. Looking for a game that can take over your entire life? Then look no further than Honkai Star Rail. Currently one of the biggest gacha games on the planet, Honkai takes strategic turn-based combat, places it in an open world, and then molds the entire experience into something that can be consumed in bite-sized chunks. Or you can just go crazy with those extended sessions, it's really up to you. What you need to know though is that this is live service at its peak. Launched as a day one PS Plus extra title earlier in the year, Sea of Stars is a nostalgic dose of classic RPGs, albeit setting itself apart with an engaging story, brilliant characters, and surprisingly deep lore. It can be intense, it can be strategic, and you'll never get enough of that gorgeous pixelated art style. It's a world ripe with things to see and do, with absolutely no shortage of personality. Now, I was excited for Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora as a massive fan of the film series, but even then, what Ubisoft has cooked up here is impressive. It's one of the best looking games on PS5 with some truly jaw-dropping vistas. Yet what fully impresses is how immersive the game can be, which is exactly what you want from a game set on Pandora. There's an obsessive level of detail for fans of the film, and everything down to the audio design will truly transport you to this alien world. Taking the Souls formula and placing it in a Metroidvania was already a hit combination for the first game, but Blasphemous II takes it to new heights, with better traversal options, even more challenging boss encounters, and leaning further into those Metroidvania aspects, and you've got a seriously underrated game amidst 2023's massive roster of high quality games. There's so much to explore in Blasphemous II as well, and it just looks and sounds phenomenal to boot. A last minute addition to this list is The Finals, a free to play FPS game that honestly feels like a shot of adrenaline to the genre. I've personally been struggling to find an FPS game that I really want to spend all of my time with, but that all changed when The Finals shadow dropped after the Game Awards. It's super fast paced, looks incredible, and runs as smooth as butter, and it genuinely has some of the most impressive destruction I have ever seen in a game. I implore you to check this one out. There isn't a game from 2023 that has a more confident sense of direction than Alan Wake 2. This long-awaited sequel completely exceeded any expectations with a mind-bending story told with incredible finesse. There are levels in here that I will personally never forget, and it's clear that Remedy is operating at the highest possible level to deliver something terrifying, something bold, and something brilliantly weird. So those are the best PS5 games of 2023. Please let me know down in the comments what your personal game of the year pick was. And remember, if you want to know our official game of the year, then stick around, check out the channel on January 1st for our official top 10 games of 2023. But anyway, remember to like and subscribe, and until next time, I've been Aiden, and this has been Push Square.